Ready to level up your slide skills with some cool country blues picking? In this lesson, we're going to work on your ability to target single notes with the slide. And this requires precision and accuracy, and you've got to work at it. And what we're going to do is take you through an example here in open G tuning that really will help put that skill to the test. The piece we're going to work on uses a thumb and index finger picking technique, but if you need any help getting started with finger picking, check out my 5 essential finger picking exercises that you can download that will help you build a solid foundation with Fingerstyle blues. Premium members have access to additional lesson materials like a slow video tutorial, downloadable PDF and guitar per tab files, and the incredibly useful Sound Slice interactive tab player. I say that every week because I love it. Plus, you're going to have access to the entire library of premium lessons. If you're not already a member, you can find out how to join at the link in the description. And now, let's get on with the lesson. Here we go. That's the main rhythm figure that happens a whole lot in this arrangement, so let's unpack it. We start out by pinching the open 5th string along with the 3rd string 3rd fret, but that note is played with the slide. You got to get your slide out of the way of the bass strings, which are really going to continue on 5th string, 4th string, and just alternate. We got a real cool alternating bass thing here, but you got to drop your slide down so that you're not playing over those notes, right? We're just targeting, in this case, that 3rd string, 3rd fret, that B flat note, all right? So what we're going to do is play that note, and then bass, and then pick up the slide, and play the 3rd string before going bass, bass. So slowly, we get, and again. All right, now a couple of things to really make this part dance. One, you've got an option here where we have the note on the 3rd string, 3rd fret, that B flat. You can play it solid like I am here, or you can push it with the slide to kind of get a bending sound, but you're really sliding up into the 4th fret area, but we're not going far in front of the 3rd fret. It just kind of gives it this really cool sound that's characteristic of the slide, and I like it. We're just playing with that sort of microtonal sound. The other thing is when we pluck that open 3rd string, that note is syncopated. It's really an important note for this part, and we can really lean into the syncopation by placing that note really close to the next bass note. Here's what I mean. So we can play it, emphasize it, and just kind of hang right before we almost like hesitate. And it gives us a real forward momentum rolling sound, syncopation. Two ideas are separate, but you could certainly combine them like that. Now, to finish this rhythm figure off, instead of going to the open 3rd string on each every other time, what we're going to do is play through a chord with a brush up with the index finger. And notice that we were just using the thumb and index finger here to do all the picking. I'm going to get this chord, and I'll show you where it falls in a second, but let's unpack this. This is a C major chord. It's an inversion of a C major chord because we've got the E in the lowest note here. That's the 2nd fret of the 4th string. E, open G, it's the 3rd string open, and then the C note on top, 2nd string, 1st fret. All right, so little C major triad there. All right, and what we're going to do is kind of use that in a syncopated way as well. In place of that open 3rd string, we're going to brush up and catch all of these tones. So we've got this. All right, and then we will just finish out with the bass there. And then loop it. All right, in this part of the arrangement, we're really continuing the alternating bass. It was steady throughout. The 5th string and 4th string. That's the alternation that's happening. And then we're going to play a slide melody that starts out on the 2nd string. So we've got to make sure that our slide is out of the way of these bass notes, right? So we want to really work on targeting individual notes with our slide here. And yeah, I've got this ball end slide which helps with that, but you can absolutely do it with the edge of a slide that just has an opening on the end. So what we're doing is sliding into the 3rd fret right on top of the B, and that's on the 2nd string. And I'm starting the slide in between the frets. Really cool thing that you can do with the slide to help get that sort of scooping sound. That's what we're going for. That really kind of captures the essence of playing with a slide, is getting in between the frets, right? So we're scooping into it, playing that simple melody, just playing the note again and again. And then sliding off and completing that melody. Let's have a slow look at it. We could even hit it again there. All right, and then what we're going to do is kind of start like we're doing that again, sliding off earlier, because we're going for this part to sort of answer that setup on the 2nd string. What we did there was slide up from the A to the B, then back to the A, then open G. That's all on the 3rd string. So the frets are open, 2nd, 4th, right? Those are the only frets that we used in that part. And of course, we're playing it with the slide. And this is where you've got to be really careful to just target the string and the note that you need, because it's right next to the 4th string, which is being played quite often here as our alternating bass kicks along. So slowly, this entire part is and then we do that pretty much again. It's almost a repeat verbatim, except for the very last ending on the 3rd string is slightly different. So we set it up the same. So from there, instead of sliding up into the 4th fret, we started there, went back down to the 2nd fret, from the B to the A, and then open. And work that open G in between the bass notes there. So here's the whole part played slowly. This part comes up after we play the melody line and before we revisit our main rhythm figure. And we're going to call this the 4-chord part, because we're going to the C major chord. We're really going to call out the chord change here. If you bar across the 5th fret in open G tuning, you've got the C major chord, the root's on the 5th string, so that's your C. And what we're going to do is use the slide kind of as a bar, and we're going to play directly over the fret on the top 5 strings. So strings 5 all the way through to 1 here. And we're going to keep our alternating bass going. So we start out with the thumb plucking the 5th string, then the 4th, and then we're going to play the 2nd string in between the bass notes. So we get some of that syncopation happening here again before going back to the bass 5-4. So here's what we have for the first part of this. And then here we slide down to the 3rd fret, so we get a little bluesier tension happening here. And then we're going to play with that same bar, but now over the 3rd fret, although we're not going to play quite as much syncopation, or really any. Once we get there, that's all we do, is pluck 5th string and 3rd string together under our bar with the slide, and then the bass at the 4th string. So it's really just bass, bass with that one note on the 3rd string. And repeat it. And from here, this is where we go into the main rhythm figure. But let's play the piece slowly that happens over the C chord. We've got one other part to cover here, and it's where we move from our 4 chord up to the 5 chord. But the picking is basically a repeat of what we did when we got to the 4 chord to begin with. But slide up to the 5 chord before moving into our rhythm figure. Let's do it again. 4 chord, 5 chord, rhythm figure. If you learned something from this lesson, please give the video a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you want to go deeper, just join now. Become a member of BGI and you'll get additional lesson materials and access to the entire premium library of courses. I hope to see you inside my BGI. Until then, practice smart and play on.